Welcome back. In this segment, we discuss whether or not it's worth it to do mobility work. It's buzz. It's a buzzword.
It's big. That's what I was gonna say. Then that's what I was gonna say there. The trend is high. I see mobility out of every 10 posts, maybe 6. You know,
and there are some influencers or some names out there that actually don't think you should be working on mobility, or not should, or you don't need to work on mobility.
I think they're more so responding to the fad culture that surrounds the fitness industry, where some new idea or perspective is brought from the past. We saw it with different styles of training, the Mike Menser rep ranges that he was going through, and the benefits to training. So these things kind of come into the conversation or come back into the conversation, and then people take them as dogma, take them as expound them up too big. And I think we're going to be able to maybe find where the actual middle ground, or at least that's our purpose today.
In my practice as a physiotherapist in Canada, I work on mobility all the time with people, because mobility is very important when it comes to longevity, when it comes to quality of life. We don't think of it that way in the fitness space, but it's really important to put mobility first, in my opinion. I want to make it clear, though, that mobility is a function of flexibility and stability.
That stability part is left out so frequently, and I really want, if you're at home, that if you don't take anything else away from this conversation, is that part right there.
I see people often in my physiotherapy practice. I get them on the table, I assess their hip range of motion, and everything looks great. But then I get them to do something like a 90-90 or a single leg toe touch, single leg RDL, and it's impossible for them to do it. So they have all this flexibility and stretchability, but they can't actually move the way they want to, or in a way that actually constitutes good mobility.
And that's due to the elasticity of our muscle tissue. So the actual muscle fiber's ability to lengthen might be good, but when we talk about mobility and now incorporating the stability in there as well, we are thinking about can you maintain that certain position at a joint underneath a load or with the resistance of your body weight? Because that's the only thing that's changing, is from a passive position to now an active position where you're administering that movement predominantly by yourself.
If your nervous system does not feel safe,
it will
not move into that depth of range. Yeah. Okay, that's 100%. That's what it is. It is important to know that when you are training in the gym, if you can do a deep squat under load, that is what we call mobility. It doesn't have to be a back squat, some type of lunge, squat variation,
goblet,
whatever it may be. If you can't, then it's probably important that you work on the range of motion. Because if you want to get something out of it that's a little more than just building muscle, if you want something that really transfers to everyday life, you have to get into the position and be able to own the position. If you can get into the position and you can breathe in that position, then you have mobility. If you cannot breathe, then you cannot live in that range of motion.
I love the way you put that. And to also speak from a more aesthetic standpoint, because a lot of my training is geared towards that on social media, Cliff_fit and at Beyond Drips and Sets, if you haven't already. There are benefits from waking up new pathways to muscles that you might not be using by getting in a new range of motion. I come back to that time we were training at 5 a.m. Seems like a while ago now, but where just changing my foot position, allowing me to get into a deeper range, was able for me to excite a different part of my quad. We're thinking about a Smith machine squat for those at home. that I was then able to now take that and build upon to the leg development that I have today, 4 months later. So,
and one thing to note, mobility work is not comfortable, okay? If you are doing it to gain mobility, then it's not going to be comfortable, and we have to actually progressively overload it. Yes, we didn't think about it in this manner, but we should, because just like building strength or building muscle, you've got to increase your volume of work gradually over time. Same thing with strength and power. You have to increase the load, increase the speed of the movement. Why not do the same with mobility? So working on it, progressively overloading is very, very important.
Thank you so much for tuning in for that segment. If you want us to go into depth with mobility more, because like I know you, Adam, if you want to talk about your mobility page on Instagram.
Mobility mindset, mobility.mindset. I just started this page because I realized that people really want mobility, and I work on mobility with people on a daily basis for the past 13 years. So I'm building out that page, and I hope that it can be of some value to you.
Yeah. So check that page out. If you also want us to have more conversations garnered around mobility on Beyond Reps and Sets YouTube and podcast, be sure to let us know in the comments below. If you like these videos, you want them to keep coming at you thick and fast, let us know in the comment, and also by putting a like on the video. In our next segment, we'll be talking about posture. What is bad posture, and is it all it's made up to be? All right, see you then.